This Rangers team might just be in The Walking Dead because no matter how many times we killed them and buried them, they just refuse to die.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about the Rangers sweeping the A's, riding a 5-game winning streak ever since Nathan Eovaldi went down, and 3-game winning streak since Seager went down, and I declared them dead on Friday. We're going to talk about the playoffs being very much up for grabs when just 3 days ago it seemed like this season was dead and buried. But before we get into all of that, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is right here, so visit the FanDuel app today to start planning your future bets now. Now, this weekend was just the most confusing series of the Texas Rangers season, in a 100-way tie with basically every other series that the Texas Rangers have played this year. They end up salvaging a 500 month of August despite a miserable middle of August because, ever since that series against the Royals, this team has basically been unbeatable, sweeping the Guardians, taking 2 out of 3 against the Angels, including a 20-3 win. And then this weekend, just pouring it on the no longer in Oakland Athletics for a series sweep that was a little bit closer than it should have been at the very end of this one. A silly way to end it, but a way that ends with the Rangers pretty much in postseason contention at this point. According to Baseball Reference, their playoff odds are now at 42.7%, which feels absolutely wild. And they have a 4.7% chance to win the World Series. Again, according to Baseball Reference, which feels a bit generous given what they've lost in the last week and a half, not even 2 weeks at this point, but they are getting back some help. On Monday, Jake Burger, he will hopefully be back with the Rangers. He is going to travel to Arizona to meet up with the Rangers. He will likely be activated off of the 10-day injured list. He was lost for 10 plus days starting in that series against the Kansas City Royals, right when he was starting to heat up. Then later on in the week, in the same game, the Rangers lost to Evan Carter for the season. He is now on the 60-day IL. They also lost Marcus Semien, maybe not for the season, but probably for at least the vast majority of this season. On Tuesday, they lost their ace, Nathan Eovaldi, for the season with a shoulder injury. And then heading into this weekend, Corey Seager with a surprise appendectomy. He is going to be out for a period of time. He was placed on the 10-day IL, so he is at least going to miss 10 days, probably 4 to 6 weeks. That is the general timetable for return. But it seemed like it was just one loss too much for this Rangers team. After that 20-run outburst against the Angels, you think, okay, well, if the Rangers, sweep the A's, then they can have a 500 month of August, and they can be, theoretically still in contention heading into the month of September, which is where you want to be. The Rangers are now 4.5 games out of the AL West. They hold the tiebreaker over the Houston Astros. For now, they still have 6 games to officially decide that tiebreaker. They are just 2.5 games back of that final wild card, which is held by the Mariners. So basically up that to 3 games back because they do not have the tiebreaker against the Mariners. They have already lost that pretty decisively with how poorly they played against the Mariners, but there's no one in between them and the Mariners for that final wild card spot. This was a fantastic weekend for the Rangers in a team that just, it doesn't make any sense. The things that are more easily understandable than the 2025 Texas Rangers baseball team, I would say the Mariana Trench. I would say understanding what's in the depths of our ocean. That's more easily understandable than the Texas Rangers. Understanding particle physics, I think that's more easily understandable than the Texas Rangers. Understanding what exactly cancer is and how to fix it is more understandable easily than the 2025 Texas Rangers. Heck, I'd say there are galaxies trillions of light years away that are more comprehensible and easy to understand than the 2025 Texas Rangers. This team makes no sense whatsoever. As soon as I think this team is about to turn a corner, they go in the gutter. As soon as I think they're dead for the season, they rattle off the biggest hot streak that you've seen ever. I just, heading into this season early, it seemed like this was going to be a team that had suspect pitching, a suspect bullpen, and a decent rotation, and an offense that beat the brakes off everybody. And then it was the exact opposite. It was an absolutely inept offense for 2 months and the best pitching staff I've ever seen from a Texas Rangers squad. And now the pitching staff is starting to falter, and the bats, they are winning games that I think now, how are you winning these games? Where earlier on in the season, I'm thinking, how are you losing this game? How are you losing this many games as well? You look at the run differential of this team. This should be a team that's 10 games above 500 or more. I mean, their expected wins loss record is 80 and 58. That's 12 games above 500, but they're not that. They right now are 71 and 67. 71 to 67, just a barely above 500 team. And they've got a tough month of September ahead of them, but a month that they, I think, can handle theoretically. They've got a chance, which I did not think they were going to have heading into the month of September. This did not look like a team that had any chance whatsoever. I mean, they signed Dylan Moore to paper over the maybe not to paper over, but just to get some kind of supplemental help for Corey Seager going on the IL. And, he looks pretty great in his first action as a member of the Texas Rangers, a couple hits, including a 2-run homer in this first series as a member of the Texas Rangers. Everybody in this offense just stepped up time and time again this weekend, and the offense just did not let up. They did not do what they had done early on this season. Somehow, I don't know how, but the Texas Rangers are the team that has scored first the most in Major League Baseball this season. The whole season, they have scored first the most. And they have the best pitching staff in baseball, and they're still not running away with a playoff spot or division lead. That is the kryptonite of this Texas Rangers pitching staff. If it's a close game, if it is a game that the Rangers are losing, they are nails, but apparently with a lead is where they have been suspect this year. But the offense early on this season, they spot on a couple of runs early on in games and then say, we're done. All done. Here's 2 runs. Why do you need any more than that? Why do you need 3 runs? Why do you need 4 runs? So why are you asking for 4? You want 5 runs? That's greedy. Why do you want this offense to score you 5 runs? Do with 2. You're fine with 2. And they have not been fine with 2. But in this weekend series, they did not let up. They did not take their foot off the brakes, even when they were up 8-0 at one point, because they needed the vast majority of all the runs they had this week. And we're talking about how exactly they got through this weekend sweep and what's left to do in this month of September. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Upside. Hey, Locked On Rangers fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 each year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offer varies by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. The show is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Got all kinds of different lines on the Rangers to make the playoffs right now. They are plus 300 to make the postseason and minus 430 to miss the postseason. You're looking at division winners right now. The Astros favored to win the AL West at minus 135. Mariners at plus 115, Rangers at plus 1500. Those odds seem a little steep for where the Rangers are. So go, if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by using FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Shout out to the Everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be talking about this first game of the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team that I know this Texas Rangers squad is looking to get some revenge against after two brutal losses to the Arizona Diamondbacks at home, at a place where the Rangers, at least a decent chunk of them, not all of them, because several of the guys who won that 2023 World Series on the road in Arizona are on the shelf. And it did not matter. It did not matter that Marcus Semien and Evan Carter and Corey Seager and Nathan Eovaldi were on the shelf. This team still swept on by this weekend with some incredible offense all the way up and down this lineup. Jonah Heim has been on fire as of late. Josh Jung has been absolutely more than on fire. He has been fire. He has been the fire. In the last 7 games, he has just been hitting like crazy, hitting .484 with a .710 slugging percentage. You look at his last 15 games, he's still been on fire there. Not as much in the home run department, but still has been hitting the ball incredibly hard. A .353 batting average, a .377 on base, and a nearly 1 point shy of .550 slugging percentage. Even you just go back to the last 30 games. I mean, basically, since he has come off of that demotion after a terrible month of June, he's been hitting mostly really well. There was a 10-game hitting streak the second that he came off of that minor league stint. And then, a week or so where he looked poor and then was forced to ride the bench. And since then has been, on fire as of late. In the last 30 games, he's hitting over 300. The on base is 339, slugging 432. That is a OPS north of 800. In a 30-game span. That's a fifth of the season. That is not a small sample size by any means. He's gotten his OPS for the season up over 700. He's got 13 bombs on the year. He has just been truly on fire as of late, as has Jock Pederson. Jock Pederson with his hardest hit home run since, I believe, 2019 to start off that game on Sunday with the Rangers having a 2-0 lead. And it was only 2-0 because, well, Josh Smith, who literally right before the game, I said, why is this guy leading off? He has been terrible over the last 30 games in terms of getting on base, and he reaches base 5 times in that game, goes 2 for 2 with 3 walks, including an RBI double. He has been great in that game. I still don't know if he should be staying in that leadoff spot over Wyatt Langford, who has extended his on base to a career best 20 straight games. And it wasn't just the offense. I mean, the pitching staff was great this whole weekend. I mean, Jack Leiter had an incredible start, only gave up a couple of runs to an exceptional offense, truly an exceptional offense. The Rangers were able to keep this A's offense pretty limited all weekend long. I mean, only 2 runs on Friday, only 3 runs on Saturday. And while they did explode for 6 runs, all of them coming in the 8th and 9th inning on Sunday's game, they still end up with a sweep. Jack Leiter with 6 innings of 2-run balls, 7 strikeouts, technically 2 walks. But if the umpire had 2 eyes that were functioning correctly, it would have been just 1 walk. I mean, what was clearly strike 3 should have been strike 3 called, ends up being called ball 4 to Brent Rooker. And credit to Bruce Bochy for letting Jack Leiter work through it to get out of his own, not a mess at that point, but get out of his own situation. He throws 97 pitches in that one. And the tidbit that I really wanted to focus on is Nathan Eovaldi, despite not being on this team, not on this active roster right now, he is still very much a part of this team. He did not travel to West Sacramento with the Rangers squad, but he was still a big part of this squad with Jack Leiter giving him a game plan that he sourced himself and said, hey, Jack Leiter, this is how I would go to attacking this Oakland A's lineup. And what does he do? But he uses that game plan and he dominates this Oakland A's lineup that is no longer in Oakland. With Jack Leiter building on that last start that he had, which was by far the best of his career, it is just a super encouraging sign to see this young guy continue to make steps. In the second half, he has made 8 starts now in the second half, and he has a 2.61 ERA in that span. He's 4-1. He's got 41 and a third innings under his belt and over nearly 11 strikeouts per night. The walks have been down since then. The erraticness has been kind of calmed down. He's only given up 4 home runs in 8 starts in this second half, and he has just really been a significantly better pitcher. And seeing him take these steps forward, develop, make that progress, it has just been such an encouraging sign for a guy who is going to be a big part of this Texas Rangers future. I mean, Jack Leiter turning into a quality mid-rotation to maybe top rotation starter. He's got the stuff to do that. If he can start spotting his fastball away to right-handed batters, then that is going to be something that really, really opens up everything else in his arsenal. I would still like to see him throw more than the one sinker that he threw in this game. But again, that's just me nitpicking at this point because he has been so darn good as of late. And it wasn't just him. It was a good pitching performance from basically everybody this week. I mean, Merrill Kelly working into the 7th inning. He only allowed 3 runs. 2 of them came off of solo shots to the no longer Oakland A's. And I know this isn't a team that is, fighting for the postseason. This is not a team that has a great pitching staff, but this is a legitimately great offense. I truly believe this is one of the 5 best offenses in all of baseball. Heck, maybe it might be one of the 3 best offenses in all of baseball. I mean, you look up and down this lineup, and the first 6 hitters are all really quality hitters. I mean, Tyler Soderstrom has been excellent this season. Brent Rooker has been excellent. Shea Langeliers has been one of the hottest bats, if not the hottest bat, since the All-Star break. Nick Kurtz has been exceptional. I mean, truly exceptional in this season as a rookie. He's almost assuredly going to win the AL Rookie of the Year, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be pretty unanimous. But if Jack Leiter keeps pitching like this, then maybe he's going to get himself some votes because he absolutely deserves it. He has been one of the most highly touted Rangers pitching prospects in years. There's been a lot of hype, a lot of attention on him, and he's starting to go from just highly touted prospect and former first-round pick to really darn good pitcher, and the Rangers need it. With Eovaldi on the shelf, with Jacob deGrom being a little bit more limited, he was still fantastic in his 5 innings of shutout ball against this A's squad. Only 2 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts for Jacob deGrom, who was getting honestly a couple of helpful calls on called strike 3s that were a bit out of the zone. A truly terrible and erratic zone on Sunday's game, but still, he was doing the most with it. He was doing what he needed to do with it. And this pitching staff still, outside of Caleb Bosley in this Sunday game, did its job securing leads, locking things down, and Sean Armstrong making his 5th save of the season on Friday's game, in a game that was still pretty close, still a game that was by no means cinched up, just a 5-2 victory. The Rangers offense didn't do all that much on Friday and was just a couple inches shy of a Michael Hellman multi-homer game. I mean, just the depth of this lineup stepping up game after game after game. I mean, Michael Hellman has been truly a great Rangers hitter so far this season. He's only played in 15 games so far this year, but he's already a .6 WAR player, and he has a 971 OPS, 3 homers in 15 games. And had it not been for a really great play by the A's left fielder, it would have been 4 home runs in 15 games for Michael Hellman, who is really filling that role the Rangers expected Kevin Pillar to fill earlier this year, a guy who is a right-handed hitter who dominates left-handed pitching and plays exceptional defense out there in center field. And Pillar was fine out there defensively, not great, but just could not get his bat going. And that ended up being the final nail in the coffin of his big league career. But Michael Hellman is just getting things started. I mean, he's 29 years old. I don't think he's going to stick around, forever. But this is a guy who plays excellent defense out there in center field. Defensively alone, besides what he's brought offensively, he has brought some incredible plays out there, diving plays in the outfield, playing center field over Wyatt Langford, because he's got that speed. He has got those instincts and those years of reps out there in center field. He has made some truly exceptional plays out there. He's been a menace on the base pass already this year. He's got that was Kevin Pillar had 3 stolen bases. He's already got 2 stolen bases so far this season and 5 walks to 5 strikeouts in 36 plate appearances. That's solid. That's a winning player. That's a guy who the Rangers are going to lean on if they get to October. This is going to be a guy who fills a valuable role if the Rangers have a tough left-handed pitcher that they're facing off against. I would not be surprised if we see some Michael Hellman starts in the postseason again, if they get there. And if they keep playing like this, then I think they just might actually get there. But I don't think I should be predicting anything with this 2025 Texas Rangers squad, because they are beyond comprehension in both a good way and a bad way. This show is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right play can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections. You can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. It's quick, easy, and honestly my favorite way to follow along with football. I love checking projections for Josh Allen, like more or less on 270 passing yards, or Saquon Barkley, more or less than 1 rushing touchdown. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 play. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Shout out to the Everydayers for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. After every single game, Jeff Biggs is with you with the Locked On Rangers postcast, coming to you live after all 162 in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, this is just such a confusing team that I do not begin to want to understand where the heck they're going to go from here. They have been horrendous on the road, but with this road trip, maybe they can start to turn things around. They have got some incredibly important road games between now and the end of this season, including 3 road games here, a 6-game road trip stretch with 3 games in Queens against the New York Mets, and then 3 games against the Houston Astros. Those will be the final 3 games that the Rangers play against the Astros. They get 6 games against the Astros in the next 17 days. That is going to be wildly important for this Rangers squad. I mean, just wildly important. And this team has been playing so well as of late, but they really haven't been gaining much ground in the standings because everyone ahead of them, well, outside of the Astros and the Mariners, has been playing incredibly well also. I mean, the New York Yankees are three games up of the Seattle Mariners in that top wild card spot. The Rangers have lost the season series to them, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. If the Rangers want to catch the Boston Red Sox, they have been 7-3 in their last 10 games. Both them and the Yankees 7-3 in their last 10 games. The Rangers are 8-2 in their last games, so that means they've gained 1 game of ground on the top 2 wild card spots in the last 10 days, despite being on a 5-game winning streak and being basically unbeatable in the last 7-9 games. If they win this next one, they'll be 9-1 in their last 10, and we'll see if the Rangers can gain any ground there. But this is a team that has postseason aspirations, and if they get to the postseason, then you start to rethink who's actually done for the season, who's not done for the season. Evan Carter's been placed on the 60-day IL, and he's got a broken wrist, so I think that means he is absolutely done for the year. We saw how long those broken wrists can take to heal with Josh Jung's injury last year. And so it really makes me think it would be, maybe the World Series by the time that Evan Carter, with a full rehab, full rest and rehabilitation, even if it is the better type of a wrist break, because it is just such a complicated injury. There's so many different bones in your hand and in your wrist that the way they heal can be temperamental. We saw Josh Jung come back and then it wasn't quite healed, and then he had surgery, and then he came back a little bit more, and then it just wasn't quite right. It took basically the entire year for that to get fully right. And even still, Josh Jung has still had some struggles this year, and it really feels like he's finding his footing at the perfect time. Marcus Semien, he was supposed to be out for 4 weeks, and at the earliest he would come back with about a week left in the regular season. Maybe that ends up being the case still with that broken bone in his foot after that foul ball off his foot. Maybe we start to see him come back a little bit sooner with Corey Seager. I mean, who knows the timetable for return on that? It could be he's back as soon as the very end of this 10-day IL stint, or maybe he's back, at the very end of this regular season. I don't entirely know, but I mean, you look ahead at this schedule, none of the teams that are on the Rangers, schedule for the rest of the season are unbeatable. I mean, maybe the Brewers for this Ranger squad might be unbeatable, but you've got 3 games on the road, 1 homestand, 1 road trip, another homestand, and then 3 games on the road to finish against the Guardians. I mean, the final 9 games of the season are all winnable. They're very winnable. Heck, their games against the Astros, the Raiders should. Again, this goes back into the run differential and how many close games that they've lost. Heck, they should have won at least 3 out of 4 in that first 4-game series against the Astros at home. Incredibly frustrating that they didn't. I mean, that 7 innings of no-hit baseball that Jack Leiter had on that Sunday game that they ended up losing, that they absolutely should have won, which made it 3 out of 4 wins for the Rangers in that first series. And then the only game that the Rangers lost in that second series against the Astros was when Jacob deGrom was on the hill and the offense was coming off of a very, very long road trip in which they did not have a getaway day because the Angels are stupid and don't know how to run a franchise, or a scheduling system. But the Rangers end up losing that one, a 1-run game in extra innings. And so here the Rangers are. Right now, they do have the tiebreaker against those Houston Astros, so they'll need to at least go 500. If they go 500 in these 6 games against the Astros, they will still have the season tiebreaker against them. But because you are so far back, you cannot afford to just go 500. You got games against the Brewers, against the Mets. Like, these are all teams that the Rangers should beat. The Mets have been struggling badly as of late. The only team that's left on this squad that I think the Rangers are really going to have a tough time there is the Brewers. And even then, they're not unbeatable. They're a really good team. I still think they're the best team in baseball this year. But you got to look at these 3 games first. You got to look at what's happening right in front of you first. I mean, this is going to be a tough series for the Rangers. It's going to be some tough matchups against a Diamondbacks team that they thought they were out of it. They traded away Merrill Kelly at the deadline to this Rangers squad. And yet they have somehow found themselves not completely out of it because the Cubs and the Mets and even the Padres to some degree are kind of tripping over themselves at the very end. So this Diamondbacks team definitely has stuff to play for. I mean, they very much are not out of it, not just turning over. And while this isn't a good pitching stat, this is an offense that has been on fire as of late and needs to stay on fire lately. I mean, with Adolis Garcia catching fire, as you look everywhere up and down this lineup, and there's not really an easy out at this point. And that's what the Rangers need. They need everybody in this offense to keep cooking like they did this weekend. I mean, Josh Jung with 3 hits or more in 3 straight games, and he had a multi-hit day on Sunday. I mean, he's not just on a hit streak, he's on a multi-game hit streak. That's the kind of on fire that he is. When you have production like that from him, you have production like you're getting from Kyle Higashioka this weekend, like you're getting from Wyatt Langford, who has just been absolutely incredible. I mean, you look at the last 30 days for Langford, he's hitting 300. He's got an on base over a 420. He's got a slugging percentage of 514. That is a 934 OPS over the span of basically a fifth of the season. He's got 4 bombs in his last 15 games. I mean, even in the last 7, he's still got that on base streak cooking. It's been a little bit less fire as of late, but he's still been on base in 20 straight games and has his first 20 homer season of his big league career, of which I'm sure there will be a lot more. I mean, this has been just such an incredibly valuable player taking those steps forward. Like, he's at 4.9 baseball reference for now. He could end up with as high as a 6, or if he has a September like last year, he could have a 7 war season as a sophomore, where just a month ago we were thinking, okay, is this a sophomore slump for Wyatt Langford? I mean, it was a sophomore slump for Wyatt Langford, but seeing him step up and seeing, guys like Adolis Garcia step up and Jock Pederson, who over his last 30 games has been, really in a great way. that the Rangers have desperately needed Jock Pederson to be the Jock Pederson that they signed to be one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, he has been for 10 years. He has been an incredible hitter. And you look at what he's done in the last 7 games, he's got 3 bombs. He's got a 733 slugging percentage, just slugging percentage in those last 7 games. The Rangers need all of these guys to start clicking at the right time. And we've been saying all year long how, they just need to get hot. They just need to get these bats hot. Just get 1 or 2 guys, hitting well, and it'll start to come because the pitching staff has been good enough. I mean, it's going to be some tough pitching matchups this week against the Diamondbacks. They got Patrick Corbin going on this game on Labor Day versus Ryan Nelson, who really carved up the Rangers the last time they saw him. It's TBD versus Nabil Krismat, which is going to be more of a bullpen game on Tuesday. I'd imagine Jacob Latz is the one who gets that start on Tuesday, but we'll see if the Rangers just want to go straight bullpen game for that. Maybe have Sean Armstrong be an opener and then Jake Latz be the bulk guy. I think that'll kind of be dependent on how they do in this Monday game with Patrick Corbin on the hill. I mean, Patrick Corbin, who's coming off of 8 shutout innings in his last start. Then you have Jack Leiter going versus Zach Gallen, who Zach Gallen has really turned it on the last couple of starts. Really poor timing for the Diamondbacks to not be able to flip him, and instead we'll probably end up offering him the qualifying offer. But that is still a very good pitcher and a very good pitching matchup on this Wednesday series. And then off day before a huge series at home against the Houston Astros. This team is very much in the hunt, and we are in the final month of this season. This is not a spot where I thought they'd be a month ago. It's definitely not a spot where I thought they'd be, 2 months ago. You look at where they were at the end of May, with the offense just horrendous, the pitching staff incredible. And if I told you that they'd be without Nathan Eovaldi for a 4 to 6 week stretch, and then before you even get to the final month of the season, Nathan Eovaldi is done for the year, and then you're still without Tyler Mahle since June 10th, and somehow this team is still in it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I think just sitting back and letting this team just be what they are, if they can start to turn some key wins around on the road, I mean, the difference really has been, you point to a million different things, but really, you look at the home road splits. I mean, they have a 420 win percentage. They're 29-40 on the road, and they have a 609, a nice winning percentage at home at 42-27. If they can just scrape by, get some wins on the road, get some wins between now and the end of this season, because the teams that they're playing against, the Astros are getting stronger. Luis Garcia was activated off the 60-day IL. Today, Yordan Alvarez was activated before the series against the Angels, which they have a chance to, I believe, split, if not outright lose to the Angels. This is a team that has all the talent in the world to go on a run. I did not think they were actually going to do it. They still might not, but at least they put themselves in this final month of the season in a place to be entertaining. And at this point in the season, that's kind of all we can ask. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.